what the expectations are with regard to the budget or the media budget review presentation tomorrow. Mr. Aggrey, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Star.
Yeah, good morning to your listeners.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're doing well. Yes, that's good to know. So, I mean, straight to it. The budget will be presented tomorrow, media budget review. For the Food and Beverages Association, what are your expectations?
Thank you very much. In fact, as we have said over and over again, we expect for them to take certain measures that will really alleviate the hardship. Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Aggrey. We seem to be having a problem with your connection. If you could kindly reposition, because there seems to be some breakages in the connection.
Is it okay? Hello.
Yes. Hello, Mr. Aggrey. It's a little better. There are still a little breakages, but it's a little better. Carry on.
Sorry. What I'm saying is that, as we have been saying over again, that government will take action that will really alleviate the suffering of the consumer in better, and also bring the industry on the growth path. So if we look at certain taxes that we have set, they are nuisance taxes, and therefore we need to remove them. So for the Senate to go by, we expect the minister, being his first time making this presentation to actually
hello, Mr. Aggrey. Right. We seem to be having some problems with Mr. Aggrey's connection. Samuel Aggrey is the General Secretary for the Food and Beverages Association. We'll try and reach him on the line again and try and speak to him with regard to the media budget review presentation and what the expectations are. What the expectations are as an association, the Food and Beverages Association. Unfortunately, we had a bad line, and so we weren't hearing him clearly. We'll try and get that rectified so that we can speak to him in that regard. But of course, you know that you're still listening to The Morning Star here on Star 103.5 FM. And definitely, much later on, we'll be having a random conversation. And earlier, you heard Ibrahim Al-Hassan, ask the question that when it comes to being an irresponsible parent, who is described as an irresponsible parent? So that's a random conversation, but we'll have that much later on here on the show. But let's try and connect to Mr. Samuel Aggrey again. Mr. Aggrey, we lost you a bit there because the line wasn't very clear. I hope we can have a clearer line to speak to you now. Yes, it is better now. Definitely it is. So you were talking about, what do you expect in the budget? Some of the things, measures that you expect to be taken to alleviate the plight of Ghanaians, among other things.
Being the person that the minister will be
right. The line is still pretty terrible. We can hardly hear Mr. Aggrey on the line. We apologize for that. We apologize for the terrible nature of the line this morning. We'll work on that so that we can bring you that conversation here on the Morning Star. So we'll try and connect to Samuel Aggrey again, Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association. Hopefully, we have a better connection. Mr. Aggrey, apologies for the terrible nature in the line, but we're happy to have you back on.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we have a better line now.
Okay.
Yes.
So as I was saying, we expect them to remove certain nuisance taxes that we have been calling for, and then also look at policies are rather militating against growth in this country. So if you look at the ports levies and the taxes that are being implemented, most of them will say they are nuisance taxes, and therefore we need to correct this to be able to break even, because most of the taxes that are being implemented are paid on threefold, some in double, some in threefolds. So we say we can't pay tax. So therefore, we need to streamline all these areas. Therefore, if there's anything to go by, this is the time for us to look at these policies so that we can move on the country. And then if it comes to industry, we have to bring down the cost of taxation, because industry is being charged overly in taxation, and therefore we need to bring it down for them to also have a growth in that sector, because the industry is what is driving this country. And if we say we need to grow this country, then we need to make sure that the industry survives. If you overtax them and some of them relocating, then it becomes a big problem. If you look at the cost of CD as against dollar, it's a problem in the country. So therefore, we expect that they will announce certain measures that will make sure that the CD will be stabilized for a very long time. If it comes to cost of production, very high because of electricity and so let's look at the cost and bringing it down for the industrial sector so that this can grow. If we do that, businesses can then have confidence that people can put their money and that.
All right. All right. Very well. Mr. Samuel Aggrey. I'm grateful that you spoke to us here on the Morning Star. The line was still a little bit bad at the tail end of that interview, but we do once again apologize for that. But I mentioned earlier that Ibrahim Al-Hassan sat down in an interview. This interview was with BT Baba. He's a current member of parliament for the Talensi constituency. And Ibi, you're here. You sat down with him.
Yes. He's a man of many hats. We're here talking about Paralympics, right?
Yes.
At a point, he was the president of the Ghana Olympics Committee. And when Professor Mills won the elections to be president, there were some individuals within the NDC, and you heard me right, within the NDC then, who wanted him out. And so he dragged them to the International Olympics Committee, went to the Court of Arbitration, all because he believed that once he had become the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee through an election, the only way anybody could remove him should be through the same ballot box. He fought till Ghana got suspended. First of all, Ghana was cautioned. 1, 2, after the government was still persistent on his removal, Ghana then got suspended from the International Olympics Committee. In the end, he won, and then elections were held, and he decided not to run again. Again, at the point, he was the deputy director for the Ghana Prison Service, and he was directly in charge of Nsawam Prison. So all the political prisoners that your history books will mention to you,
he was there.
From Nkrabea Ifadate to Captain Koda and many others, he was directly in charge of them. And he speaks to, at a point in time, a prison break, or an attempted prison break.
Wow.
At Nsawam.
Wow.
And how he managed to quell it. Okay. He actually appeared before the National Reconciliation Commission.
Yeah.
So that's BT Baba for you.
So let's listen to BT Baba. But I'll take a very short break here. When we return, we'll listen to that interview that Ibrahim Al-Hassan had with him. Stay tuned. This is the Morning Star.
Well, quite rightly. It's what the piano will me phone. Aday, Omutia Okana.